Good afternoon. It is November 5th, which means that it's election day in the United States. It's also Guy Fawkes Day, of all things. It's bonfire night tonight. Remember the 5th of November, which I believe is English. It's either English or part of the English Empire, or the British Empire, whichever. It's a beautiful day out. I mean, it's not too hot, not too cold. It's almost 1 o'clock, and I'm thinking of the elections today. A lot of you that know me know that I have a tendency to get very verbal with elections, especially the political one, the presidential ones. Although I got to tell you, every election is important, but I don't know. I'll explain that later, maybe another time. But I kind of decided years ago that I didn't really want to talk about what my particular politics were or are, simply because I have a lot of friends that, with different ideas and everything, and I guess I'd just rather live and let live, cast my vote and just see what happens. I mean, I was thinking about this today. Life is finite, right? Well, if you follow that logic, then everything is temporary. Whoever gets elected and whoever's incensed by it, just got to remember it's not going to be forever. 8 years max. And then we'll go on to somebody else, and, maybe they'll do better, maybe they'll do worse. But if you haven't voted and you're registered to vote, it's too late if you're not registered. Don't forget your driver's license, and don't forget to vote today. It's very important that you bring your driver's license, because at least in Ohio, you have to have your driver's license to prove citizenship. It's kind of funny to think probably in a few weeks it's going to be really cold out here, and I can walk right now without a jacket. But I thought maybe a nice walk today would kind of keep me calm. If nothing else, perhaps if every man, woman, and child stayed together and prayed, maybe my guardian angel can succeed in keeping a hand over my shoulder and a hand over my mouth. I try to think of things positively, No matter what happens, I know that God is in control. And I know a lot of people don't agree with me. But you know what? Even Christians like myself, they all have different points of view and different ways of thinking of things. And honestly, it doesn't make them any less faithful than me. I just happen to vote a certain way and other people vote another way. Politics my parents were alive, politics was practically a blood sport. Actually, for my brother when he was alive, too. We were brought up, that elections were incredibly important to vote in. So much so that my first nieces and nephews I ever had, that were my brother's kids, our Auntie Martha actually invited them into the voting booth one time when she was voting so they could see what she was doing. And that was back when you actually got to pull a lever and everything, and it was like, it just felt so decisive. I remember John saying that, my brother. He's like, I miss the levers. You just felt so decisive when you pulled the lever. But yeah, my nephews and niece, my first ones, I know that they're probably going to vote if they haven't already. Just because it's just something our family holds dear. You can feel the breeze and everything. Hoping this will keep me nice and relaxed through the day. You know, it's a good time to think about gratitude. I'm just so grateful that I can walk and I don't have to worry nearly as much about tripping as I used to. My legs are a lot stronger. And I feel a lot healthier. Just love walking around this block. Hopefully I'll run into Ruby and Scarlet today. They're awesome dogs. One's a chocolate lab and one is a Great Dane, and they are just awesome. Let's see, I need to bake bread today. I need to do all kinds of things today. I'll probably have to turn off the politics for a little while I make bread, just to kind of give myself a break, kind of be peaceful. I can't believe how close we are to Thanksgiving, though. It's less than a month here. A little under 3 weeks, I believe. I think it's under 3 weeks, but I'll have to check my calendar to be sure. It's around 3 weeks at least. You know, I enjoy walking a lot more when I get to talk on my video. It never occurred to me to try this before. And sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to walk if it's raining or snowing or there's a heat wave, or trying not to be too hard on myself about exercising. Just as long as I'm getting out and doing it, you know, I mean, I don't have to take any extraneous measures. Honestly, before, I didn't exercise much at all, so before I started this whole thing 5 years ago, I really wasn't what you would call much of an exerciser. And now that I feel better, I don't mind walking. I don't mind getting things done. Whereas before, it's like I think I was incredibly unhappy and depressed. And when you're depressed, it makes it difficult to move around. And also when you're close to 300 pounds, it's very difficult to move around. And now I can, and I can get things done, and I'm a lot happier. Anybody that, you know, is watching this that has started their journey and they're just at the beginning and they're on any antidepressants, don't be surprised if as you lose weight, the doctors want to tweak your antidepressants because you may need a lesser dose, or you may not need that many scripts at all. I mean, I'll probably always need some sort of antidepressants. I've got major depressive disorder, among other things. But, you know what? It's still better than, say, back in the beginning of the 19th century when, you know, it was basically quiet desperation unless somebody knew something about herbs. And even then, you don't know if that's going to help or if you need something stronger. Just grateful the time I'm living in, you know, at least there's medicines and stuff. I mean, really, it was back in the 1900s that insulin was invented. I have the story of that somewhere in one of my Reader Digest books, and I really need to, maybe I ought to read that again, and maybe I'll just go online and read it too, simply because it's just so powerful of a story. People didn't realize, but until recently, Diabetes was a death sentence. Basically, they got you through it. You couldn't eat very much at all. I mean, now you can eat just fine. I mean, you're not going to starve to death, at least. Unless you're, I don't know about, no, even brittle diabetics have to eat. It's something that's very important. But, I have a friend that's a brittle diabetic, and she still enjoys her food. She's just careful. Got all kinds of political signs up. Unless my husband, unless Guy asked, I probably decided not to put up any political signs just because it just seems like, it's just asking for an argument, It's easier to just remind people to vote and encourage them to vote, Reminding people and encouraging them to vote, because really that's the only way you're going to let your voice be known. And yeah, I know some people say it makes absolutely positively no difference, but I don't know about that. I've seen differences because of people voting, so think about it this, well, no, that'll just start an argument. But yeah, probably around the street, my bet is the signs are probably about in half. And this is a pretty conservative county that I'm in. Incredibly, actually. So, we'll just have to see what happens. I've stayed away from news and stuff until I had my walk too, so that I would be in the right frame of mind when I was watching things. But just want to tell everybody, just if you haven't voted and you're registered, please vote. Don't forget your driver's license. And for heaven's sakes, make sure it's current. Because I don't think current is too cool either. And not current is not cool either. Well, it looks like I'm almost done with my walk. Well, we'll know more about what happened probably by tomorrow, but then on the other hand, it may be weeks on end. You never know. It may be neck and neck. It may be a landslide. I don't know. But I'm home, and oh my goodness, I hear the neighbors with their chickens. There's some lovely roosters, or at least one rooster. I really like them. I need to bring them some bread sometime, our neighbors. I don't know about you guys, I just hate sometimes interacting with people because I feel so awkward. But that's it for today. Yes, you're a good rooster. You guys have a good day. Good luck with the day. Just try to remember that whatever happens, God is in control and everything's temporary. And we've got checks and balances and everything, so don't panic yet. I'll talk to you later. Bye.